Up, Rotogrinders? Dean here, Dean78904. That is our daily fantasy handle. Hopefully we see that somewhere lurking near the top of a particular contest going down this evening. If not myself, maybe one of my co-hosts. If not, one of my co-hosts. If not myself, somebody out there listening. What's up there, YouTube? Hey, hit that like button. Do subscribe. Hit those notifications. Get that bell on so you know we're going live. Of course, we're pretty much always going live, talking some baseball. It is a Friday. Three-man booth, not messing around. We've lost multiple games. We're down to Tim, we're just talking about this pre-show. It's a 10 or it's 9, right? We're down to
9. You said 9, Dean. You said 9.
I know. I'm playing sick. I got a built-in excuse. If I say anything absurd or more absurd than the standard, just understand that I'm pulling at Altuve. I mean, I didn't literally. It was more like I didn't actually hit a ball right into my sack and then bang out a homer the next day. But I'm just playing a little hurt. Is all I'm saying. Giving it a go. Did you see Jose Altuve's great?
I sure did. That was pretty brutal to watch.
Yeah, he bounced back in the homer.
And then he hit a home run, I think, in the very first pitch that he saw yesterday.
Incredible. Top
and
5.
I didn't play him over on Fanduel like a donkey.
Well, he was like 40% owned over there or something crazy like that.
True.
6-game slate, like 2.9K.
Yeah, but 2.9, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, anybody can fail. Anybody can go for 4 or for 5. It doesn't matter how good you are, no matter how much you annihilate left-handers. Chief, Will, we know you from such things as a lot of things. You do your daily videos. Tell the people if they're not aware. You're not on here enough. You're always on crunch time, I guess is what's going on. But they also probably are aware of you from the old chop shop, the prop shop. But how are things? Let the people know about the prop shop. Free channel in the Discord. You don't have to be a premium member. You can hang out there and talk your props all day long, from CSGO to I don't know, whatever goofy things y'all are talking about, and like other sports that I know. But what's going on, Will?
Yeah, the prop shop is it's a good Discord channel, man. It's a collaboration of a lot of good minds trying to make some money along the way, and guys are in there posting all the time. Tennis, soccer, Call of Duty, CSGO, LOL, USFL, you name it. It's going down the prop shop. So I'm really happy about the progress we've made over the past few months. I'm happy about everyone that comes in to bring their talents to South Beach and try to win championships every day. So
not one, not man. 2. How many championships do you want to win?
We want to win 1 per day. It's fun. It's really fun. Like just being able to see everyone contribute, get the joint sweat going. I don't know if you've lived until you have a prop shop sweat and literally everybody's on it. The tilt, the positive tilt or negative tilt is on. It's late at night. You need one more save, one more bucket. It's 50 seconds left. It's 30 seconds left. And it comes through in the end, right over that 0.5. It's amazing. So
give me the most recent one. What was the most recent one you can recall that the whole chat was sweating?
It definitely would have been something from CSGO. Let me see. I think that's probably the most recent one. No. Most recent one was the goalie from Tampa Bay. This was their first playoff game. Some people had him at 27.5 goal shots saved over. Some of us had him at 28.5. And right at the end, a guy takes a shot, like, I don't know, 7 seconds left, something like that. And we thought, and that took him over. And then afterwards, they kept correcting it. The number kept moving higher, higher, higher. And then it settled back in at 0.5 above the shot save that we needed. And I'm telling you, it's an incredible feeling, man. Everybody uniting together against the books, against Prize Picks, against Underdog. I'm not trying to win $100,000 up top, and then you get $10, Dean, for second place. We're all trying to chase after the same thing. And of course, I'm still love traditional fantasy sports, but obviously, I wouldn't have a name on something that I'm not fully invested in. Prop Shop is my baby, and I appreciate everybody being there. So you asked me about the Prop Shop. I haven't heard about it in a while. Hopefully that was captivating enough for you guys to swing by and hang out from time to time.
Our chat saying that, so when I say our chat, there's the YouTube chat, and then, of course, there's the Discord chat. We're trying to encourage people to join the Discord chat. And one way to do that? To give away a week free of RG Premium. Not just for baseball, all the sports, every sport you want to play, you access the Lineup HQ, the expert survey, anything we have as far as premium content, you can use it for 1 week. NASCAR is a la carte, but everything else like F1, USFL, PGA, MMA, anything, you get access to Cheese's article, expert survey, expert rankings. You look at the plate IQ, all that stuff. 1 week free. 3 different people are going to be selected. How are they selected? Just jump into the Rotogrinders Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. We're going to go ahead and drop that link in the YouTube chat as well, and join the live stream chat channel. And I see somebody in there talking right now about Sergei Bobrovsky last night. Apparently was a bad beat in the prop shop. I know who that is. He's my goaltender for the Panthers. And I watched that game, and I didn't know there was was there like a 6.5 or 7 total in that game? Because it was 6 goals after 2 periods. And the third period was just kind of a snore fest. So the over in that game, that was kind of rough. But
here's the problem: Washington just had a meltdown, and what had nothing to do with Bob, had everything to do with the Capitals. Bob was at, I think, 25 saves through 2 periods, and he got 1 save in the third period or something like that. And that's not his fault. The guys got to shoot the pucks. Anyway.
The Florida Panthers are just too good. That's the thing.
They are good. They are good. I agree, Dean. I will not argue that. But you got to get off some shots, right? You're going to miss all the shots you don't take.
I think that Michael Scott said that. You miss 100% of the shots. Is that correct, Tim? Is that?
Yes, that is correct. That's definitely correct. Yeah.
It might have been Wayne Gretzky originally, but
Wayne Gretzky gave him a little shout out on TNT last night. He posted up. He posted up his quote, and he put Michael Scott and Wayne Gretzky.
Is he not a good analyst? He's kind of boring, right? He's kind of dry. I'm not a hockey guy.
I think he's just new to that platform. I think that's the issue. I don't think he's been with TNT for that long.
And the trouble is, of course, TNT is known for Inside the NBA, which is like, without question, like nobody. It's inarguable. It's like the greatest like studio show of our lifetime. And they always try to like do. ESPN's been trying for years to try to duplicate that kind of chemistry with different combinations, and you just can't do it. It just kind of happened organically. But,
and Gretzky can do whatever he wants in terms of the hockey space. So if he wants to be boring and dry, then he can do that.
Because he's Gretzky. He's got carte blanche. But he seems kind of stiff. Maybe that's just his personality. I don't know.
But,
I don't know. Maybe he gives a good analysis, but it just comes across like kind of boring. But that's just me as like an armchair person watching a little bit of hockey. Tonight, of course, we're talking baseball. 9 games. If you're not counting or scoring at home, we've lost the Toronto game. We've lost both games in New York, and Philadelphia is off the slate. I don't have them in front of me, but I just got to X them out, so I no longer see them. Mets, New York gone. Texas, New York gone. Kansas City, Baltimore gone. Toronto, Cleveland gone. For what it's worth, the ones that are still a possibility to some degree, and of course, chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, he'll be on in about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe a little bit less on crunch time. and give you guys the most up-to-date update as far as what's going on weather-wise. But potentially in Boston, probably nothing in Atlanta, probably nothing in Cincinnati. Is that a different slate? Cincinnati is like 640 or something.
No,
right?
that's just a 640 game. That game's not on either DK or FanDuel for the main slates. So it would only be for showdown purposes.
Are the Reds
We're on to Cincinnati.
What are the Reds like 2-20? is that Mike Tomlin? Is that was?
No, Dean, come on. We're on to Cincinnati.
That wasn't Tomlin? Who was that?
No.
Well, that's an NFL coach. Oh, Belichick.
Yes, there you go.
I knew it was all right.
Cincinnati.
The Reds are, I think, 2-22 or 3-23 or something. It's rough in Cincinnati these days. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
They
keep getting worse too. Like that's the problem with Cincinnati. They're getting worse as the years go by. Like I thought they were going to be improving, but man, come on, guys.
I feel really bad for Tommy Pham. He just got, he just laid out to dry out there.
Is he the guy you feel bad for? Is he like the best player in Cincinnati?
I think so.
I mean, well, it's Votto's supposed to be the best player there. Now, of course, he's having a rough season.
Not anymore though.
Yeah, he was really good for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think right now Tommy Pham's better.
Man, he's the best player on that team. I haven't
I think so.
The pitcher when he's healthy is pretty good, but tough time for Cincinnati. You got the Bengals there if you're a Cincinnati fan. I guess things could be worse, I suppose. So yeah, we're down to 9 games, and I was shuffling. I kept adjusting my expert rankings today with okay, I got to take these guys out. Now I got to circle back and take these guys out. So we've lost, Scherzer, we lost Garrett Cole. Tim, who is left standing for you as far as pitchers? Because I don't have a clear, this is the clear guy, but I have a tier of I'm good with you, Darvish. I'm good with Eovaldi. I'm pretty good with Logan Gilbert's, Luis Garcia, especially on DK. His price is really good. Do you have pitchers this is it and that's that? Or is it kind of whatever stacks work with, whichever pitcher's left standing?
I mean, I do want to touch on Garcia real quick. Austin Meadows was scratched from the Tigers lineup, so that lineup gets even weaker. It gets even worse. So he is definitely a good play on either site, even in single pitcher sites. You Darvish is definitely going to be my single entry build on DK. There's a lot of hitting value today, so we can touch on that later. But yeah, Darvish is definitely my number one for raw points, and I don't think it's really that close. I'm probably not as high on Gilbert as maybe the rest of the field, but he does have a tremendous leash, so there is that. But I don't think you're getting really the appropriate amount of savings for him. So I think I would be kind of under the field on him. I'm a big fan of Eovaldi. He's really stepped up his game since he's come to Boston. And Chicago is they're really struggling. So I think he's definitely in play for tournaments.
You mentioned Gilbert's leash. I pulled up the bat as far as projected pitches. 98 is a really, really strong number. 100 for Alcantara, by the way, that's a really big number. He's also super cheap on DK.
Yeah.
Awesome pitcher, not this amazing strikeout pitcher, but just good ground balls, just an excellent pitcher, good control. 7-7. I don't know how much the savings we need, and we'll talk about that. Darvish, no real leash issues there either. 97 pitches. Eovaldi, you talk about 92. Garcia, a little bit, 89. Chief, you jump in here as far as pitching wise. I guess it is Darvish as the top guy. I'm trying to see what we have as far as our projections as well. Is Darvish your number one facing the Marlins? Marlins, not a great offense, obviously, mostly right-handed as well. You got Jazz from the left, but that's basically it. That we're really, Jesus Sanchez, some power. But is that where you want to start today as far as pitchers as well here, Will?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
And I don't have anything against you, Darvish. Just for me in tournaments, he's at least as it stands currently, he's not even the top strikeout pitcher on the slate. And so on FanDuel, where he's 10-2, Like I'm over. I feel like I'm overpaying for you, Darvish, to be honest with you, on FanDuel. And I'm probably in a league of my own. I'd rather play Merrill Kelly today than you Darvish. I would rather play Nathan Eovaldi today than to play you Darvish at 10-2. Now the slate's a little bit more compressed, but I try to start adjusting to numbers early. And okay, you facing Miami. This team has a lot of high K bats, but Tampa Bay's got more K bats than Miami, or they're pretty equal. Like Miami's total K rate projected is at 21.1%, and Tampa Bay's at 24. I feel better about Gilbert in terms of just overall, and he's maybe slightly overpriced. Then you go down to Eovaldi. Eovaldi is probably my favorite tournament play. While the White Sox are absolutely, so hear me out, they're absolutely the better team, okay? So there's no doubt about it. White Sox are better than the Marlins. They're better than Tampa Bay, at least on paper. And the K rates are a lot lower. I mean, Eovaldi's got a 28% K rate, a 3.32 xFIP. The ground ball rate is there. I don't hate it. So I just don't feel like you Darvish is a must play by any stretch of the imagination just because the name on the jersey says Miami. And I think that's what we're doing in the industry, and not Tim, of course, and not you either, Dean. But I think we're giving you Darvish more name value and the Miami Marlins less name value because historically they've been bad, but they're not even the worst strikeout team on the slate. And we're ready to play you Darvish. And you sitting at a 22% K rate this season and a 4.93 xFIP. So he's going to give up some runs. I'd rather just play someone else, especially when you look at the ownership, you look at where he's at. He's at 13%. Maybe it's probably going to come up some. Merrill Kelly's at 7. Logan Gilbert's right around 13 as well. I just think I can do better than you Darvish today, and so I'm absolutely probably not playing a whole lot of you at all.
It's interesting.
I will say real quick that I do agree with Will on FanDuel that you kind of are overpaying for you. But on DK, I think that I think his price is much more appropriate.
Yeah, totally different discussion for sure.
I thought you were going to go with somebody else, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because you're quoting, and this is like it's good for the conversation. It's important to say because I'm still looking at numbers 2021 forward. I'm looking at what they're doing this year specifically as well. See how much they've changed, that kind of stuff. But when I'm talking overall Ks, I stretch it back to 2021 unless there's like some kind of crazy outlier. And Darvish is the best strikeout pitcher stretched back to last season. Like you said, this year it's been down a little bit. But by that logic, by that reason, I thought you were going to say, and you didn't mention this guy's name, and this is a guy nobody's playing, which I think is really, really interesting for tournaments. Who am I talking about, Tim? I'm talking about Eric Lauer. Like this year, he's been a revelation, 36% Ks.
I'm with it. I'm with Eric Lauer today.
Okay, that's where I thought you were going because you were talking this year's stats, and like this year, Lauer in 23 innings, small sample is what we have as far as this year. The walks have been good at 5.4%. If you care about ERA, it's less than 2. Like the Sierra backs it up at 2.13. Swinging strikes are pretty good at 13.8%. And of course, the Ks are almost 37%. Atlanta, tough team to face. Not the best pitching environment, all things considered. But he's flashed some awesome upside this year. And look, the ownership I would imagine on Lauer is 5%, give or take. Like just people just aren't playing him today.
He's our highest projected owned pitcher on FanDuel.
What? Really?
Yeah, and he's projected. It is our 4th highest on DK.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I certainly don't believe that'll be the highest on FanDuel. There's no chance that'll be the case.
And to be clear, you're saying highest, he's 15%. So we're just saying it's a big jump.
Right, but I'm just saying he's not going to be forgotten about. According to our projections. Now, our projections, I think you and I both agree that they're too high. So he's not going to be the highest owned guy on FanDuel, despite what our projections say.
So the other part of it is that we lost Cole and we lost Scherzer, and that ownership's going to get dispersed, and like everybody else is going to get elevated to some degree. So maybe some of that is going to Lauer. But I think it's going to elevate Darvish first, and it's going to elevate Eovaldi first. Interesting. And of course, this stuff, the closer we get to locked in markets, we're fine. I mean, this is just our opinions, right? What do you think, Will, as far as, because that is surprising. We have Lauer at 28% on DK at 10.3, and Atlanta is a good offense, especially with Acuna back.
Yeah, the K rate's up though for now. And so here's why I operate in a more of a what have you done for me lately scenario until maybe we hit middle of the season or something. Here's my rationale. And it doesn't make me right. It's just my rationale. Dean, I want you to please tell me what the acronym DFS stands for.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Absolutely. But the generalization, let's be less specific and more general.
This is daily fantasy sports. All we care about is today only.
Exactly. That's what I care about. I literally operate in small sample sizes, right? Why do I do this? Like I said, until I get to the middle of the season where maybe things normalize, the small sample size, like if you've played Eric Lauer over the small sample size, you've probably made some money. Now, guess what? If he falls off of a cliff today and tomorrow and the next day, we've got another small sample size to operate under. And then maybe it's even more inefficient because now they're saying, oh, well, he can come back, right? You get what I'm saying? So my point is, I'm going to continue to operate in these small sample sizes as a collective, right? Until everything normalizes itself back out. You look at these teams, the Braves, they've got a 26% K rate projected as a team overall. And right now, Eric Lauer is one of the top strikeout pitchers in baseball. Something's got to give today. So either the Braves aren't hitting well right now, which could be completely true, and Lauer's pitching out of his mind right now, which can also be completely true. And if they meet somewhere in the middle, Lauer's probably still a good play, right? So that's the way I'm viewing MLB right now, which is why I'm so big on the premium reports in Plate IQ, which maybe we don't talk about enough. And I go to these recent trends and I click for Eric Lauer. And guess what? To me, it all makes sense in terms of how do you get his strikeouts up? Well, his ground ball rate's not as high, right? It's probably so he's throwing a little bit differently. And then I look at all these other numbers. Outside swinging percentage or a swinging strike percentage is up 4%. Outside swinging strike swing percentage is up 5.6%. And the K rate's up 14%. The walks are down 3.1%. Like everything's lining up versus his past 12 months compared to his past 30 days. Everything suggests that he's pitching better. And so I want to take advantage of that until I hop in here and see that maybe his velocity's down or something like that. And I always use a reference where it was a couple of years ago, I came on the air and I'm like, hey, Carlos Carrasco is going to get shelved. And he's facing Kansas City. And at that point, Kansas City's not good. But you're looking at all this data and you're like, well, while it looks like he's been pitching well on the surface, underneath, he's not pitching well. And what does he do? He goes out against Kansas City and they run off like 6 runs in the first inning. And everybody's like, oh, good call. Great, man. How did you know? It's just the numbers. Like, to me, baseball is, one of the most statistically accurate sports that we can get involved in. And so as of right now, I like Eric Lauer, and the Braves are awful in terms of strikeouts, right? They've got name value. They've won a World Series, and I'm a Braves fan. Do I want us to win this game tonight? Yeah, I'd love for us to win it 1-0 because I want Eric Lauer to do well, and I don't need the Braves to hit through 6 innings so I can hit all my props and win all the monies. All right, I'm done. Sorry about that. Tim, please get on your soapbox. I'm going to get off mine.
Well, and the other thing is about Lauer is that his velocity is actually up this year, and he's got a different pitch mix. So there are some tangible reasons why he is striking out more people. So I don't play so much on the small sample size angle. I kind of look at bigger samples, but Eric Lauer is a fantastic tournament play today, and I certainly wouldn't want to talk anybody off of him.
Yeah, and saying tournament, I don't think he's a guy you're playing in cash today, which is, again, that's why I was kind of startled at the number we have on him. But I just think Darvish and Eovaldi are ahead of him, adjust accordingly in tournaments. I can just tell you this. I'm pulling up the expert rankings today. Myself, I did rankings. Some sharp guys. Kirk Dees, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, 2-time millionaire winner. He'll be on later, and I'm sure he'll talk a lot about Lauer, or a little bit less, more so about Darvish. We'll see. Mr. Tuttle as well. And on FanDuel, we've got collectively our consensus rankings. Lauer is our 6th guy. And this is considering price as well, too. Josh Winder happens to be ahead of him for what it's worth. He's like the one cheapie on FanDuel. And Garcia's, $1K cheaper at 8.5K, a little bit higher. This is one of the features you can get, by the way, if you get yourself RG Premium. And how would you go about doing that? I said it before, but if you just join the show now, if you're not aware, join the Discord, Rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel, and just hit that bell. There's a bell going on there. Just click it. You're eligible to win 1 week free RG Premium. That's not just baseball. That's football, USFL, NBA playoffs, golf, PGA, MMA, CSGO, F1, all those, everything with the exception of NASCAR. Go ahead, hit that bell, join the live stream chat on the Discord. Say hello in there too. All right. And on DK, by the way, for what it's worth, 8th. He's 8th, which is just, obviously the difference in price matters. So yeah, phenomenal tournament play, but if he's going to be 30% owned, I wouldn't say he's a phenomenal tournament play. So we'll see. That just seems a little too high, Tim. And
it is too high, but I still don't think he's going to be forgotten, is my point. I don't think he's going to be that contrarian. I think a lot of people are going to play kind of Will's angle of look at that game log, look at his increase in velocity. Maybe there's some real things that are happening with him. So I think it's going to be kind of somewhere in the middle in terms of ownership.
Lauer 7th on DK. I misspoke. And what's interesting, by the way, we normally have like some outlier guys, but we only have 8 guys ranked on DK. And that's kind of where I'm at too. 9 games, 18 pitchers, a couple openers too, whatever, who cares. But I think it's a pretty clear line as far as where you cut it and say, okay, there's no need messing with, in or out of the bucket is pretty clear. Is kind of the point for me. Did you sort of feel that way, the same way as well, Tim? Like Darvish, here, this is the guys in the bucket today. Let's run them down. You tell me yes or no.
I'd rather get to Lauer on FanDuel where I can save $700. I don't want to play Lauer on DraftKings where I have to go up 900 from Darvish.
Yeah, which again, that's surprising why our ownership is a little high on him. But yeah, we only have 8 guys ranked. We're all ranking the same 8 players. Darvish, Garcia, Eovaldi, Gilbert, Winder, Alcantara, who's pretty cheap at 7.7K, not a great matchup. Lauer, 10.3K is 7th. And then, Chief, you mentioned Merrill Kelly, and that's another one, right? This is a guy we used to kind of sort of pick on to some degree, not known as this great pitcher, but he's been steady, perfectly fine, not going to overpower you. Looks like I saw somebody in chat. I want to confirm that. I think it was Shannon in chat saying that the roof might be open in Arizona. We've said this before. Arizona hates their fans, and it's 90 degrees out. They still open the roof because God forbid from AC. It's a dry heat, but it might be 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's a dry heat, of course.
I've been in that Arizona dry heat. It is, and I lived in Vegas. Trust me, it's hot. Don't let that dry nonsense fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about Kelly. Why you think he is in play for you?
Well, it's really more just a price play and where I think he'll end up in terms of fantasy point scoring. So if I'm getting down to Kelly, and I guess this is a little bit more FanDuel specific per se. Like if I'm getting down to Kelly, right? He's at 8,900, slightly cheaper. Do I think Eric Lauer is probably a better play than Kelly? Yeah, because the strikeout stuff's there. But I don't think Kelly's a better play than Eovaldi. But my point is, it's spending down to get that one extra bat that you may need, right? On DK, I don't hate Kelly there either, but I think in the 9K range, and for what it's worth, I'm probably a lot higher on Logan Gilbert than anybody else today. Like, he's almost like number 1 for me, for what it's worth. Like Lauer, Gilbert, Eovaldi, like that's kind of my trio. But in terms of Kelly, I think he's got enough to get there if we get the bad Colorado Rockies today. And, when I look at the Rockies, the K rates, he's got some strikeouts in there. Like Randall Grichuk is at 25, CJ Cron's at 23, McMahon's at 31, Rogers 31, Hill at 20. Like he's got some. So the upside's there. He's at a 22% K rate on the season. Pretty even across the board between righties and lefties in terms of walks and actual K rates. Giving up a little bit more hard contact to lefties, of course, but I'm willing to stomach that with him being at home and facing a team that, 3 through 8. I mean, I think he gets at least 2 or 3 strikeouts from this part of the order. Just don't, let Connor, Joe Rocky, or Charlie Blackmon get on and steal a base and come home. And I think once again, Merrill Kelly will have a serviceable performance.
Your thoughts, Tim, as far as Merrill Kelly? Like that Colorado offense obviously is pretty terrible, especially outside.
Yeah. So I always power rank my pitchers before I come on the show. And obviously I've had to cross off this list 4 times today. But right now I have it as Darvish, Eovaldi, Garcia, Winder, Gilbert, and Alcantara. So those are my 6.
Is that slate specific?
That's for both.
Okay.
That's for both DK and Fanduel. I don't see too much of an overlap there in terms of site to site. So, I mean, Kelly's fine, but he wouldn't be in the pool for me today.
If you're a run at 150 though, he's probably in the pool. Yes. Or
yes. Oh yeah. If I'm running 150, definitely be in the pool. But I think I would have to go over 20 to get to him. I think if I'm playing some kind of 20 max contest, I think I'd fade him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I like him. He's fine, but he's also generally not a guy that's gonna win the slate. He's not gonna strike out 9, he could survive it, certainly. Especially against his Colorado lineup. But he'll probably be fine. Go 6-ish, maybe 2 runs, strike out 5 or so. Maybe
that's where I'm at with him. I don't think he has the ceiling that he's really going to hurt you if you don't have him today.
So yourself and Chief both have talked about Logan Gilbert. You give me the pitch on Gilbert first, and then we'll see what Chief has to say.
Yeah, I mean, he it's definitely a viable tournament play. I mean, the leash is really, really good. I mean, I think you said he's pitched over 100 pitches in 2 straight games. I mean, that's in this day and age, that's really amazing. So the matchup is definitely positive for K's. It's for me, it's kind of like where he lands in terms of salary. Just kind of he gets squeezed for me because I'm only a one lineup guy. He gets squeezed for me because of Darvish and Eovaldi. He's right in between those 2 guys, and I'm going to prioritize Darvish and Eovaldi, or I'm going to go down to Garcia. So he's just not going to be in the mix for me. Obviously, if I'm building more teams, he can be in the pool. Same thing goes on FanDuel. He's going to get squeezed for me again. He's right between Darvish and Eovaldi and Garcia. So it's just, for me, it's just where I'm at in pitching. He gets kind of phased out for me.
It's wild, by the way. In FanDuel, we have Lauer projected for 14-ish percent, Darvish for 14-ish percent, Gilbert for 13.7. We just have it all kind of jumbled together.
For what it's worth, I think that Darvish ownership rejection isn't going to be that high on FanDuel because, like Will and I both said, you have to kind of overpay for Darvish today. So I don't think he's going to be like the super chalk guy, even in single entry formats.
I think Eovaldi might be a little bit too low at 10.4. You're getting a significant discount, 8.5K. And also, you mentioned the White Sox. I think it was Will talking about the White Sox. That uniform in theory sounds kind of scary, but there's no Eloy. They're missing multiple players. Look at the back half of that lineup for the White Sox. It's not very good. Engel's batting second, I believe. I think that's a little bit too low on Eovaldi for 8.5K, just 10%. I would bump that up a little bit personally. I've not seen what optimals are spitting out for what it's worth, optimals in baseball, but just curious where that's kind of directing people. Well, what's your thought as far as Gilbert versus Tampa? The Tampa lineup just came out, by the way. Pretty sure it's as expected. No Manny Margot, if you're expecting him in there. Harold Ramirez is in it instead. Yandy Diaz, Wander Franco, Rosarena, Lau, Ramirez, Kiermaier, Walls, Mejia. So no Zanino, and then Phillips.
Man, I hate no Zanino. That's at least one strikeout per game. So no, but I still like Gilbert a lot. Like he's one of my top plays on the day. Like I said, I've got a top 2 for me today. So yeah, I think he has a good game back at home. The thing I like about Gilbert too, if you look at his game log, he's only pitched at home one time this season so far. Like just go check this out. Only once. And so he's back at home. I do like pitchers when they're back at home. Like, and everybody's doesn't have like elite splits, but like I think one guy that we know for sure right off the top of our heads, like Sandy Alcantara is just way better at home than he is on the road generally. And so with Gilbert being young, and this isn't tangible per se, and I could look it up, but I'm expecting him to have a good day today. The K rates are there. Phillips, Mejia, Walls, Kiermaier. I mean, this is pushing 30% average at the bottom 4. Then we've got a Rosarena and Brandon Lau stuck in the middle. Just don't let Wander Franco hit a solo shot on you. And I think we've got a chance for a big night for Gilbert. Hot take here. Gilbert goes for 49 on FanDuel and around 30 on DK. That's my hot take.
How many strikeouts is that?
I think Gilbert goes 7 Ks, 7 innings today.
Gets that quality start on FanDuel?
Yes.
So we've mentioned the name a couple times, and Tim, you kind of said I think he was in your power rankings, but it doesn't sound like you're going to play him. And I don't know how necessary he is, and we don't really know what he is, obviously, but he was good his first time out. He's got a nice matchup versus Oakland. What is a Josh Winder, and why should we consider playing him?
I mean, this would definitely be the cheap guy that I would get to today on either site if you really want to pay up for all the bats. But like you said, I don't think you really need him. But if you want to pay up for, like, say, your top end Angels or your top end Red Sox, a team like that, then you're going to have to find, you can't play Darvish and Eovaldi if you want to play your expensive bats. So if you want to pay up for those premium stacks, you're going to need a guy like Josh Winder, who gets, probably the worst offense in baseball. So at 6,500 on FanDuel or 6,400 on DK, he definitely should be in your GPP pool. I also think that he could be in your single entry team also on either site.
Yeah, he's coming off a nice start last time out. I don't know if he's going to be able to go for 100 pitches. You don't necessarily need that. You're not really paying for that. He threw 83 pitches last time out versus Tampa, threw 6 innings, 7 Ks. Yeah. Well, I don't know how much I need Winder. He's in the pool if I'm running a bunch of lineups. Like you said, if you want to spend up on a stack, I think he's the best guy to save you some salary. There's actually another guy that's worth talking about. The chat's talking about it. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about Chad Kuhl in a second. But first, Will, give me your thoughts as far as Josh Winder.
Yeah, I like him. I'm all about some Josh Winder props tonight for sure. I think we got him at 4.5 Ks on Prize Picks. I'm willing to take the over, banking on the fact that the Oakland A's are going to strike out a ton. So that's a prop that I do like tonight. It's not my top prop, but it's definitely one I'm invested in. But on DK, I just don't need him because I'm kind of hanging out in the 9K and the 8K range. So I'm just good.
So what about Chad Kuhl? Anybody have a Chad Kuhl take? He's been better this year, than he has been historically. He's facing an Arizona offense that's not very good, obviously. Again, that roof is open. That's not ideal. I want to say historically he's a guy that's got a pretty big split. So you're considering how many lefties Arizona's going to throw at him. And it looks like we're probably going to see a pile with Varsho and Smith and Peralta, Hummel, Marte. 6 or 7 by my UCF math? I think that's 6. We don't have a picture of lineup just yet. But yeah, the chat wants to know about Chad Kuhl, Tim. Is he in the fringes? Is he just a no-go?
He would definitely be an X out on FanDuel. I think you're making a huge process mistake by playing him on FanDuel. So he's completely out of the conversation for me on that site. I guess if you really wanted to, you could pitch him as an SB2 on DK, but he wouldn't. Even if I was building 150, he would not be in my pool tonight.
Will?
Yeah, I'm playing no Chad Cool. However, based on his recent trends, what he's been doing, he's been getting through 6 innings, 80 pitches. I'd be willing to take his over like 17 and a half pitching outs tonight. And if you can get him at 16 and a half, I think that's even better. And let's see what happens.
If
he's just expensive on both sites. Like, it's like, I don't think you're getting like a meaningful discount to play him in a DFS type scenario.
I don't play Chad Cool for what it's worth, like ever. Like, I just don't play Chad Cool, period. So I'm just going to put that out there. I don't care if he's 12. If he's 5K, of course we play him. But
sure, you can.
Yeah, but he's never 5K. You know? Yeah,
like if he was like in the low 6s today, maybe, but you're not getting any kind of discount to play him. So I'm totally out on him.
If you're going to do the under the hood stuff, so far this year in 23 innings, he's been very lucky. You look at his ERA, it's 1.9, but his batting average on balls in play is 177, which is super, super lucky. That's absurd. And also his left on base percentage, 87.2%. Again, super, super lucky. That translates to a Sierra above 4. So again, the Sierra above 4, the ERA below 2. This is when the regression monster should be getting him. Now, the problem is, I don't know if Arizona is capable of summoning the regression monster, because that offense is pretty putrid. So maybe he can survive once again, but eventually it's coming. If not tonight, in 5 days or something like that. But again, like you guys said, as far as the price, it just does not feel all that necessary. Home run the fly ball, 9.1%, also pretty lucky too. Just lucky all around this season. Good for him, but this should adjust soon enough. Is there anybody else that we should sort of focus on? Anybody we kind of missed? I feel like we've mentioned already. We mentioned Alcantara in passing. How do you feel about that price on DK 7.7, Tim? I know it's a good price, but San Diego doesn't.
I really like him. He made my top. He made my top 6 for my power ranking. So I mean, he is definitely in consideration in all formats. He's kind of like your pivot away from a chalkier Garcia or chalkier Winder for an SB2 scenario. He is an elite ground ball pitcher. He has shown flashes of K upside. This is a matchup that should kind of scare the masses. So I think that he will be very low, pretty low owned. So I think he makes for a really good any format type play, like maybe not cash game, but single entry, large field, whatever.
Will, thoughts on that or anything? Maybe you should probably just do a summary. Give me your summary as far as pitchers. I feel like we talked about everybody that needs to be talked about. If we didn't talk about them, I mean, feel free to ask, but it's probably a no-go.
Yeah, and I know me and Tim are probably we're kind of split on certain guys and then pretty similar on certain guys. But I'm not as well. We're pretty much probably the same on FanDuel. I'm just not high on Darvish on FanDuel because of the price. So I think it matters. I'm pretty high. I'm high on Gilbert everywhere, both sides. I'm high on Eovaldi, both sides. I don't mind Lauer on either side. And then handful of Chad Kelly, handful of I guess Winder if you need him on DK. But I'm mostly invested in those kind of 3: Gilbert, Eovaldi, a little bit of Kelly. I'm more intrigued with Luis Garcia. I just wish he had more strikeout stuff, and they should be that the strikeout stuff should come, but his K rate's too low for me right now to even think about it. Even against that bad Detroit lineup, like, where's the upside? I just feel like it's a whole bunch of ground ball out. So if I were you, I'd get on the Luis Garcia 17 and a half pitching out props. Just take the over because he should go 6 innings with ease.
Well, that's gonna be a close one because that feels like they're not gonna really let him go beyond that, but it feels like he should get 6 done. That's interesting.
Listen, all we need is 18, Dean. And
I know. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Do I think he goes 6? Yes. Okay. Then the prop is a win. I don't need him to go 8. I don't need him to go 21 for me to feel like I won. I just need 6 innings, you know?
That's a great number because, like, yeah, obviously with 6 1/3, you're taking the under.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how that works. Yeah, and then that Detroit lineup, by the way, with the new, they kind of shuffled it up a little bit. Meadows being out, stretching back to last year collectively versus right-handers, 24.7% as far as strikeouts. So there are Ks there, and Garcia, not a great K guy, but pretty good, 26.7% stretch back to last season. Tim, what's your summary as far as pitchers?
Yeah, so for cash teams, it's probably Darvish, Eovaldi, or Darvish Garcia. If you want to get a little bit more aggressive with your bats, you could go Eovaldi, Garcia. And then tournaments, you add in Gilbert, you add in Winder, and you add in Alcantara for me.
All right, going to talk stacks in a second. Do want to mention Stat Hero. We talked about Stat Hero yesterday. It's just a different way of playing fantasy. You're not playing against other people. You're playing against the house. The house provides a lineup. It's a head-to-head style, and they show you their hand too. They say, this is my lineup. Come and beat it. And if you think their lineup's not very good, you figure out a way to beat it. 3-on-3 style. You build your own little lineup within a certain salary parameter. If you think it's a good lineup, like I don't want to mess with it, don't play that day. That's fine. You don't have to play it. They also have pick'em style contests. They have survival pools as well. Promo code here. Use the promo code Grinders, GRINDERS, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. So by my math, that means if you deposit $500, you get $250 as far as deposit bonus. And Tim, I believe you took ahead a look as far as the matchup. Do you know who they're rolling out against us? Who do we got to beat?
It's Trout, Brantley, CJ Crone, and Josh Bell.
Oh boy! Oh,
that's one of their head-to-head teams that you can build your own team against for even money.
Will would pass because he hates Brantley's like his favorite player, so he wouldn't go up against them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Brantley's my guy, man. He just comes through for me all the time. No home runs, but just fantasy points, man.
I will tell you on this site, they added a little wrinkle. I looked at their scoring, and you do get -2 for a strikeout, which is something that we're not used to as DFS players. So I thought that was pretty interesting, which may add value to a guy like Brantley, who I don't think strikes out very often.
He singles and he grounds out. Yeah.
Right. So their lineup was, again, Trout, Brantley, Crone, and Bell. And then I decided to go with Ohtani, Christian Yelich, Taylor Ward, and CJ Crone because I have to match one of their players.
Okay, so you make it a 3v3. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
To be honest. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose to match Crone? It was just because of salary reasons, or you just like Crone?
Yeah, so I had 11-1 left, and I have to match one of them. So I decided I just match Crone. I decided I'd take a stand on Trout. I decided that I didn't think Brantley had like power upside. So I didn't want to match him. I figured he was a good guy to go up against because they give you all these options of different teams that you could go up against. So I decided to go up against this one.
Yeah.
And so I decided that with Ohtani and Ward, I can still possibly get some exposure to Trout if he happens to have like an RBI double. I can kind of counter that possibly with like a couple runs or something like that, or drive him in with Ohtani or something like that. So
are you buying in the Taylor Ward thing, or obviously he's been spectacular and probably not going to be this good going forward, but better than we thought he would be coming into the season.
Yeah, that's where I am with him. He's not going to be this good, but he's going to be, I think, better than we thought he'd be.
Let's talk about our favorite stacks tonight. Hey, before we do that, before you give me your favorite, Will, amongst all the pitchers we talk about liking, right? Let's just, the ones like the 6, the 8 guys we like, who's the one you're most likely, if you were forced to, like, stack against? Do you have an answer for that? Like, of all the guys we liked, what's the backs, if you want the best stack against the good pitchers, if you want to say? Is there anybody?
As crazy as this sounds, probably be, and look, this team is awful, okay? This team is so bad.
Arizona.
But no, I stack Detroit against Luis Garcia. Like, I go by K rates. I try to keep certain things simple. He doesn't have a lot of K stuff. Detroit just strikes out a lot. but they're going to have some games where they pop. I don't want them to pop tonight, please, because I need Luis Garcia to go. It's 18 pitching outs, but I think no, give me Arizona. Sorry, just give me Arizona.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, and I think that's where people are going to go.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like I guess we only kind of talked about Cool. We're not really rostering about. He was in the conversation, I guess. But do you have an answer for that, Tim? Is there a stack that you think is kind of interesting against some of the pitchers? One of the pitchers we like.
Yeah, I actually. I mean, my vomit stack, I guess, would actually be the Oakland A's. Yeah, I mean. Winders, obviously, he's going to be good, but maybe we don't necessarily know that much about him. So, I think, and he'll, the A's will be like 1% owned. So that would be my vomit stack.
You got all the stacks to pick from now, Tim. You can play anybody you'd like. You don't have to pick on a good pitcher or whatever. I'm pulling up our consensus rankings, which again are pretty tight. It's amongst like the best stacks: Houston, Boston, Angels, Minnesota. I think I was the only person to throw out Milwaukee, and somebody nominated Arizona. So that's the so-called best options. Would you agree with that? Well, which stack stands out for you?
So right now I'm really debating between the Angels and the Red Sox. So those are my two favorite. Probably, I mean, so Jared Duran is 2,100 on DK. He got the call up from AAA. Supposedly he's fixed his swing. I don't really know what that means, but he's been doing really well at AAA. So he got the call up. He's 2,100. I'm probably going to play him on my single entry build on DK. That also brings down the price of that stack. So I'm going to try to get as many Red Sox and Angels as I can. Now, the Angels are so expensive that I might only be able to do like a one-off of Trout or a one-off of Ohtani or something like that. But it's really those two teams for me right now that are my priorities.
I don't think Duran's in the pool on Fanduel. Unless
he is not.
Okay.
He is not. But he's 2,100 on DK.
He's
fat. And of course that changes a lot of things on Fanduel, but it's also always easier to get your hitters in on Fanduel. So
how about yourself, Will? Who's your favorite stack tonight?
Houston. Not even close.
I think Houston has like the best six hitter in baseball, right? Is Kyle Tucker's the best six hitter in baseball, and Jeremy Pena might be the best seven hitter in baseball. Can we say that? Maybe Bellinger, maybe. I think it's Pena. Houston's got the best six hitter in baseball and the best seven hitter in baseball. Anybody?
I think that's true.
Yeah, not the best fifth, not the best two. Like I don't make this order, but yeah. I hate playing guys at home that are so far buried, but yeah, talking about that Houston stack and like
it won't matter after they wrap it around at least 2 innings.
Yeah,
everybody has their 5-6 at bats.
Bo Breesky, 6 at bats and not getting the hit in the ninth. That you're really putting up like 14 runs. It's possible.
Listen, I mean, Houston's not that type of team per se. Like Houston's more like a score 7, 5, let's say 5 to 8 runs every day. Like that's kind of the type of team Houston is. Listen, Dean, and I don't, I think Houston has a day here. I really do. I'm not, Breesky's young. I'm not worried about it. Like 50% K rate, 6.36 xFIP, and he's really going to struggle today. I think. Give me all the Houston Astros, man.
I keep seeing that name, and I think of the old SNL character, Bill Brasky. You guys remember Bill Brasky? Anybody in chat out there? It's a really off the board reference, but there, one person probably knows what I'm talking about. Everybody else doesn't matter. It's all right. I like Houston as well a good bit. I think Milwaukee's kind of interesting, but somebody in chat made a good point. If that Lauer number is true, if he's going to be close to like 30%, Atlanta is like, why are we not playing? If there's nobody playing Atlanta, like there's, Albies versus left-handers, historically phenomenal. Acuna, plenty of power all throughout that lineup. A good ballpark when you're considering the other options out there. I don't mind an Atlanta stack.
I will tell that person also that Derek Carty has the Braves rated number 1 for raw points in his stack projections.
Oh wow, interesting.
So yeah, and Ian, they will be very low owned. So that's a great tournament play.
There, a couple of people in chat got my random Bill Brasky nonsense. Anything else that's worth? What's up?
I was trying to look and see how much weather was ranking into that.
That's a good idea. I'll pull up Weather Edge and see if there's anything interesting, anything popping. I was looking mostly as far as like precipitation, if the game's going to go or not.
Yeah, I think weather's got a lot to do with that because the wind's going out. Some of the best hitting weather on the slate.
Yeah, isn't it like 75 degrees with the wind blowing out to the right?
Yeah.
So there's no
matching
historical
15 to 20 miles per hour.
There's nothing that we have 0 games that match. Now, granted, this ballpark's only been around like 5 years or so, 4 years, but there's not been a game played with this kind of weather in Atlanta ever, in the last 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. But what do we have as far as let's see, 76 degrees, 17 miles per hour to left field. And
the weather game that I want Roth to talk about is the San Diego one.
Yes,
his Weather Edge program is really popping in that game, and it's a big sample size. So I would kind of want him to touch on that maybe during crunch time.
Yeah, if I don't bring it up, remind me to you jump in. Feel free. I might forget. But 148 game sample, 65 degrees, wind blowing out to right center. But that's a big sample, 148 games and a home run spike of 24.7%. Run spike, not massive, but 8.2%. What is that? Is that a possible Marine Lair situation?
And I might be completely wrong about this, but I thought that there was like a jet stream with that park and that it kind of funnels home runs to that exact spot. That I think I remember hearing something about that, and Cardi might know something about that, but I do want Roth to talk about that if he could.
There was some kind of funky thing going on with San Fran during the pandemic when there was no fans, where they kind of like blocked something off. I don't know if you're.
I know that they adjusted that part for the win, but I know that I'm thinking of San Diego, but I don't know. There was something going on there, I thought, but
bad weather in San Fran, by the way, 365 game sample, massive sample, downgrade in homers at 14%, downgrade in runs 7%. That game is happening on the slate, but like, is it happening? Because I don't think anybody's being played. No, you're certainly not playing the pitcher for St. Louis. You're not playing Hicks. I don't think you're playing Cobb. Like, just nobody's playing anybody in that game. Like, it's happening. But
I actually think you could take a flyer on Cobb, but I mean, just because the Cardinals are so bad against righties. But I mean that's kind of probably for 150 maxers.
I think that's an extreme pitcher too, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking at some of the
and that's another reason why I like Gilbert. He does have a pitcher's ump tonight. I didn't mention that. I meant to include that in what I was talking about. It's not EP, but he's P. So I'm hopefully that helps him get those extra 2Ks that I'm looking for.
The extremes are extreme pitcher umpire for Merrill Kelly, for Alex Cobb, for Chad Kuhl, and for Jordan Hicks, who's not going to pitch very long. It's basically a few innings or something like that. Anything else you want to say, Will, as far as stacks, or shall we jump in and go around the horn, give us some of our favorite plays position by position?
Let's go around the horn.
All right, Will, you get to start catcher. You drew the short straw. Tell me all the catchers you love today.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind it. I mean, you've got this interesting group, right? Like, so Kurt Suzuki, do we know whether or not Kurt Suzuki's playing yet?
No, it's either going to be him or Stassi, obviously, but I don't think we know the Angels just yet. John Madden.
Okay. But whoever the Angels catcher is, like, I'm in. Whoever it is, I'm in. In terms of and Maldonado's catching for Houston today, I'm in. I think he's going to have a good day. And then outside of that, it's just whoever's kind of in these stats. I'm just not. I don't hate Narvaez, but
catcher to me isn't crazy strong. Like Yasmani's been striking out a lot, so I don't really feel like I have to play Yasmani, but that's kind of where I'm at today. Angels catchers, Houston catcher. Let's go to work.
I think the Minnesota guys are kind of interesting. Sanchez and Jeffers, no lineup just yet there. Correa expected to go on the IL. They're expected to call up, or they are calling up their other second biggest prospect. Their third biggest prospect's been called up, Miranda, who's not been good so far in a small sample, but I still trust, the talent's there. Royce Lewis expected to play for Minnesota. He's also super cheap on DK at 2K. I don't think he's available on Fanduel. Another guy, I think it's DK only. This Zach Loge, I don't know. He's been bad. He was promoted, but I don't know. They just have nothing else. I guess Oakland, or they're just a bad. They're a bad team with. They don't care. They're just throwing out an arm. So I'm fine picking on him. Sanchez historically good power, and Jeffers, either one or both might draw the lineup spot. What do you have here as far as catcher, Tim?
Yeah, and that's something that I think I should have brought up maybe against for stacks is Minnesota. If you're like me, you stacked Minnesota quite a bit against Baltimore and you got burned. So I think a lot of people are not going to want to go back to them tonight. And I think that a guy like Buxton, who was 40% owned last night, is going to be significantly lower owned tonight. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. But for cash games on DK, it's hopefully going to be Max Stassi for me if he draws the start. Tournaments, Gary Sanchez or Jeffers, like you mentioned. I think an interesting play, maybe for larger field tournaments, is a guy like Grandal, because Eovaldi is going to be so high owned. I don't really want to play Kurt Suzuki at 4,200 on DK. I'll probably go somebody else if he's the starter.
I'm just going to be different, by the way, too, Tim, because I know nobody's going to play him if he started. And
at 4,200?
I don't trust the Don at all. So that's what that is.
He's 2K on FanDuel. Not that you play him on FanDuel, but 4,200 is a little tough for me on DK. FanDuel. So Cardi's projection system, the bat, loves Dalton Varsho, and honestly, I don't blame him, because I think he's a spectacular hitter. He's a tremendous athlete. He's probably going to bat lead off against Cool. He's outfield catcher on FanDuel, so I think he makes for a fantastic cash game play. Gary Sanchez, way too cheap on FanDuel. I think that's kind of it in terms of catchers for FanDuel.
Alex in chat talk about Royce Lewis. If you remember correctly, is a glove first guy, shortstop. He is projected for a lot of raw power. He hasn't really shown it just yet. He's still just 22. I'm just pulling up his Fangraphs page, and I don't think he's. Let's see. So far in the minors. 2019, he had 10 homers and 418 at bats. Well, 12 if I'm combining. I mean, he hasn't shown a ton of power. Some speed he's shown. He's flashed, but I'm sure he's not a complete project just yet. But he does project to have some power, maybe eventually. We shall see, and some speed. But yeah, maybe he's better defensively than he is with the stick. But also he's 2K. All right, first base. Shohei Ohtani. Well, you can play him at first. You look at the projections for baseball for hitters, Tim, are obviously kind of goofy. You can score 0 points, you can score 35, whatever it is. But I was looking at the projections, Shohei versus the field. He's 3 points higher projected, and that's DK points, which is different than FanDuel, obviously. He's so far above everybody else. And again, I'll take the field over Ohtani. Duh. I don't know who's going to beat him, but somebody's going to beat him. They might all beat him. Ohtani can go over. But before the game start, he looks like the best player. Pick it on a dome. Is this a good spend up for you? Shohei, is he one of your favorite pieces as far as big spends when it comes to hitters tonight?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be rostering Ohtani on both sites. You can get to him really however you want to do your pitching. He's very, very, gettable across the industry. So he's definitely my first priority spend for single entries. I do want to mention Jared Walsh. He's 3,700 and he's 2,900 on Fanduel. And of course, you can play them both together, and I think that's a really good affordable piece for that stack. Nobody's going to play Matt Olson tonight, and
No.
he's got tremendous raw power. He's going to be super, super low owned. And then some super cheapies, Christian Walker for Arizona or Jordan Luplow if he draws the start. They're very, very cheap. Like if you wanted to double pay up for pitching on DK, I think they make for spectacular plays.
Miranda, by the way, another super cheapie on DK, 2.1K. I think he's third base on FanDuel, but he's first on DK. Will, who do you like at first?
Oh, man. A plethora of people. And I've been kind of trying to talk a little bit of DK, but Ohtani's definitely on my list. Like him a lot. Rowdy Tellez is on my list as well. Atlanta pitching, man. Yuli Gurriel, of course. I'm going to be in on him with my Houston stacks, and those are my main guys for sure.
Do want to mention again, if you guys are joining us late, Crunch Time. Crunch Time's coming in about 25 minutes or so. You got Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner, as well as Keith Eyster. Roth will tell you what's going on weather-wise. They're taking you guys straight all the way up the lock. And if you're not aware, you're hanging out on YouTube. What up, YouTube? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. We like the conversation there. We also like the conversation in our Discord. If you join our Discord, there are some premium channels. There are some free channels. This is a free channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord. The link is in the chat. Producer Steve's going to drop it now. I don't know if I timed that right. We'll see. We'll do our best. There's a delay. It's really tough to stick the landing on that one. But if you click that link, you join the live stream chat. Right now, there's a giveaway bot. You just click the button on the giveaway bot. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Just click. That's it. Anybody can do it. Dummy like myself, I can handle it. It's not a problem. We're giving away 3 1-week free passes to RG Premium, not just baseball, but all the sports, football, USFL, PGA, MMA, all the goods, everything with the exception of NASCAR. You get to use the optimizer and the ownership projection. You get Cheese's musings. Just jump in the Discord, click that button, and you get yourself a chance to win 1 week free. And we're giving away 3, so your chances are pretty good. All right, second base. Will, Keystone position. Who do you like at second?
I mean, second's somewhat interesting. I know you're going to hear me kind of talking about some of these Milwaukee guys just because I don't believe in the Braves pitching today. So Colton Wong's going to get there by default. Jose Altuve is my number one guy. I think if you're trying to get a little frosty on DK, like give me all the Jazz Chisholm that you can at 5,600. Nobody's playing Jazz. I'm not as high on Darvish today as everyone else, so I don't hate a little bit of Jazz one-off for sure.
So I was looking at the Cardis of the bat earlier today too, because in my brain I'm like, this might be a good bet because you don't really want to pick on Darvish, and like for stolen bases, this feels like a good stolen base matchup. Darvish will give up some steals, and he was projected for the highest stolen base opportunity today, like 30%. And I'm like, maybe you can get some good odds in the books. Not really, like 3-1. And I was like, yeah, throw it away. But I thought there was an opportunity. But yeah, this feels like a spot where you can swipe a bag or two. Of course, you got to get on first, and Darvish is a good pitcher, but I don't hate that idea. And he's got some pop also. And presumably, he's going to be leading off, so he's on the road. Well positioned. You do fairly well. Get yourself that 5th at bat. How about yourself, Tim? As far as seconds, I'm pulling up our rankings. Altuve is still really cheap. Story, who's been rough. Ketel Marte, who's also been rough. Albies, who's been bad. Yeah.
I mean, Altuve is definitely your cash game option across both the major sites. I'm probably going to be playing Story tonight. I know that he's been really bad, but I think that he's, I still believe in his long-term skills. So I think he'll turn it around soon. Velasquez gives up a ton of hard contacts. I think Velasquez has like an expected ERA of over 6. So, I mean, I definitely want to be attacking this Red Sox team. So I think I'm going to make an ownership pivot from to Story from Altuve in my single entry build. Colton Wong is very cheap on FanDuel. He's certainly in play on DK also. I totally agree with Will on Chaz Chisholm. Like, nope, he's going to be super, super low tonight. If you're 20 maxing or more than that, he's definitely should be in your pool.
Would you want off him? Like he can do it by himself, but do you like many other Marlins to play with him?
Well, that's exactly right, Dean. Like, I wouldn't get too crazy with like a Marlins stack, but like, yeah, take like a premium player like him and just one off him. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
That's my
he's literally the only Marlin I would play, even though I'm not high on Darvish. Like, he's got so much. He's got single upside by himself. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think I did want to mention Ketel Marte, definitely like on Fanduel 2,900. I think he can definitely, and he's second base outfield, so you have positional flexibility with him.
Yeah. Where was I looking at earlier today? As far as, was it the hard hit stuff? Maybe I was looking at hard hit stuff as far as Albies just being terrible this year. Yeah, Ozzy Albies among qualified hitters this year, he's got the third lowest hard hit rate at 21.8%. You know who's got the lowest? Who wants to guess that? He is playing baseball today, and he's batting ninth, and he used to bat leadoff. A lot of hints there. He's on a terrible team. He's the worst hitter on a terrible team.
Lorenzo Kane.
No. Is Kane batting eighth today?
Tony Kemp.
There it is.
Tony Kemp. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's it. Tony
You know
Kemp.
what you won? You won yourself.
Hey, that's my vomit stack. Come on now.
But you're not like in your single entry contest. Like you're talking.
It could have been Akil Baddoo, though, honestly. He would have been in the running, but
he was batting first, and I think now he's batting ninth.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, and so
that's an interesting stat. How many guys we have today batting ninth that used to bat first? Jose Iglesias is on that list. Used to bat first for the Detroit Tigers, or at least closer. And I think everybody else. Yeah, that's Paul DeYoung could be on that list. He used to.
That's who I thought it was. But then he said he used to bat leadoff, and I don't think he used to bat leadoff.
Yeah, he was like cleanup or somewhere in third. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Marcus Semien, fifth worst. Starling Marte, ninth worst. Colton Wong, 12th worst. There's some good names in there. Brandon Lauer.
Where's Story?
I have to scroll. I don't know. Here, I can tell you this. I can just pull up Story's card. I like to use the baseball savant on occasion. And
I bet Story's over 1.5 bases today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I took Yordan Alvarez as well, Tim. That felt like a good one. And they've got Tucker at 1.5 as well. So yeah.
Do you know what the juice was on the Altuve or no on the Alvarez one?
No. Let me check real quick.
By the way,
are we about to get off the air?
What's that?
Are we headed off the air?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I didn't want to run out of time to
10 to 15 minutes.
We got 15 more minutes.
Information for Tim there on that.
Yeah, so it's funny because Alex in chat said he's playing in single entry. Now, and Tim, you're playing single entry, and you talk about Oakland being your was it mush stack? Not mush stack. Your garbage stack. What was the term you used? It's the blender word.
Vomit.
Right?
Vomit stack.
He's actually going to play Oakland in single entry. Like, are you doing? You're not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that. I hope he didn't think that I was doing that. So
no, respect for doing it. I respect.
Yeah, good luck to you. Good luck to you. If they go off, you will win all the money. So
yeah, nobody else is going to have them. I fully in the 121 and the 222 on FanDuel. So there you go.
I was talking more if I was 150 maxing, I'd have like 2.
Yeah. No. Again, I fully respect people that are and you don't have to win that very often. And,
nope.
and if Oakland does its thing, and baseball goofiness, you can't predict it, all that kind of stuff. I can't get my brain to do that, but I respect people that will do that.
I mean, we have Oakland as being 3% chance of being top stack,
and they're going to be less than 3% owned if you want to do that math,
right? So
hey, Yordan minus 105 over 1.5 bases, and that's DK.
That's pretty good. I got Story at plus 110.
Oh, that's even better.
Positive juice, yeah. By the way, Story, I pulled it up this year. Exit velocity average, he's in the 56th percentile, not horrendous. Hard hit, 25th percentile, not great. He's barreling it a little bit, 54%. So, probably a little bit better than like the numbers suggest, I would imagine. I haven't looked at the X stuff, but yeah.
Let me at least give you this one, Tim. The Angels are getting no respect. Mike Trout plus 100 to go over 1.5 bases.
That's pretty crazy.
I can't, but I almost thought this was a DK special. Looking at it right now, plus 100. Otani's plus 110.
Yeah.
Why did our projections team just? Jaime Barria. Because now it's Jonathan Diaz pitching for the Angels. When did that happen? Did I miss something? Wasn't Jaime Barria was pitching? Is he?
He was.
Diaz,
I think he still is.
Is okay. So according to our lineups page, we have Jonathan Diaz starting. I'm trying to see if I missed something. Chat, let me know if I missed something, or producer Steve. But as we stand right now, that's what we're projecting. And maybe Barria was scratched and I just missed it. I have the interwebs. I'm trying. We're multitasking. As we do that, knock out third base, Tim.
Yep. I don't see anything about this pitching change. So
I don't either, which is what's flustering me.
Right. Yeah. So third base, I'm probably going to be rostering Rafael Devers. That's what I'm going to try to get to at least. Alex Bregman is always a fantastic play. Same thing with Anthony Rendon. I really like, anyone in that top half of that Angels or Red Sox lineup, I think is a really good spot today. I'm trying to think. Like Luis Urias on Fanduel, I think is pretty cheap. And you can play him in 3 different positions. So that makes him like really valuable in, a cash game type format. I don't mind the Brewers today as a stat. Same thing goes like Jake Cronenworth. I think he makes for a good play on FanDuel. Manny Machado, I never ever get him right. So if I play him, he gets 0. If I don't play him, he hits 2 homers like last night. So
did you watch Crunch Time?
I did. Did you? Were you on him?
Yeah. Listen, man, that was my home run call of the day.
Oh, lack of respect for Will.
Man. I can't remember who I even played at third base last night.
Yeah, literally, we were like, look, I'm playing Manny over everybody because he's it's like his ownership's way too low.
If I recommend him, then don't play him, because anytime I play him, he literally grounds out to third base 3 times with a strikeout. So wait to get your Manny calls from Will.
Gotcha. Mino dropping a tweet here in the chat. Jonathan Diaz has a locker in the Angels clubhouse, so he can be back pitching tonight. Third base coach Phil Nevin also back. I don't know where Phil Nevin was, but good that he's back. He used to have one of the coolest stances in baseball, right? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Or I'm thinking of Phil Pantier, possibly. Doesn't matter.
Berea's not really stretched out, though, is he? That's the other thing.
Well, I don't know what's going on here.
Because
we weren't rostering him, to be fair. I just thought
we weren't rostering him. I'm just saying he pitched 30 pitches last game.
He's been kind of like a long man for them, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. This could be like a piggyback situation, perhaps.
That's what it might be. That's a good call.
Yeah, like it could be like Diaz is like the potential opener, or vice versa, something like that. Either way, you're not playing them, and I think either way, it doesn't affect much for Washington. So I'm not crazy about that game in general.
Derek in chat says, I'll never fade Cheese and Will's plays after last night. Who did Cheese like? If you like Machado, who was Cheese's guy? We did confirm me that Altuve was feeling fine. He can still do things, and he banged out a homer. I don't remember. Cheese probably had a good home run pick or something like that.
Cheese was super high on Philadelphia.
Yeah, as was I. No, seriously, like we were pretty much on Philly and Machado yesterday. That was like our discussion.
Yeah. Will, did you have anything to add as far as third? I apologize. We're running behind on time because I derailed the show.
No, we're good, man. Let's keep rocking out with our socks out.
Give me some shortstops.
Plenty on this slate is like 3. But I do like Xander Bogaerts here. I think he's fine. Willie Adames. I know I keep mentioning guys from Milwaukee, but I'm telling you, I'm not a big believer in this Braves pitching staff as presently constructed. So that's someone I like. What was my sneaky low cheap play? Was it? Yeah, Castro. I think is my sneaky play from Detroit. I think he's a guy you just throw in there. I don't think Garcia gets through this clean. I think he gives up a run or two. And so, Castro is one of the lower strikeout bats for Detroit if you need a little bit of salary relief.
Tim, shortstop?
Yeah, so another guy that Will didn't mention that I think you guys both like is Jeremy Pena. I think he might get forgotten at the bottom of that Houston lineup. I'm personally on FanDuel going to try to find a way to play Story and Bogarts because I can get Story at second base and Bogarts at short. So I think that's kind of covers the big ones that Will didn't mention.
What about outfielders for you, Tim? Like Ohtani, they're asking if Ohtani is going to be in the lineup today. We'll see. Like he pitched yesterday. I think he had 29 swinging strikes. I want to say, am I quoting that? The most that we've seen all season long.
I bet the Angels yesterday, and he was just amazing.
He had a rocket.
He looked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean the big thing with him is his control. Like if his control is on, he's unstoppable. Like, but then he get wild, and he gets frustrated, and then it's over. So it's like he is just the constant. Like he's like your typical like GPP play. Like I still get really nervous rostering him in my single entry formats, but I think I'm gonna have to start trusting him more because the ceiling is so high.
Yeah.
Outfielders Ohtani and Trout are your two premium spends. I like Will's boy Alvarez quite a bit. Personally, I have to take a stand between Angels, Red Sox, Houston. So I'm probably going to be fading Houston today. That doesn't mean that anybody else has to though, but I probably am. Dalton Varsho, he's going to be, popular in single entries today. I think he's a good value on both sites. I really like this Arizona team for value. Jarren Duran for the Red Sox. He should be in your cash game lineups on DK. He's 2,100 batting leadoff. Like he might not be all fixed, but he's a good prospect, and it's a good matchup.
Yeah, I didn't hear Buxton, but I think he's kind of in that same like grouping of those elite hitters. Ohtani, Alvarez, Trout, and the one that people aren't going to play apparently is going to be Acuna. And especially on FanDuel, he's like 3.6, which is just, Acuna's price on FanDuel. I think it's 3.6, maybe it's 3.8. I think it's 3.6.
It is 3.6. Yeah,
that's just like that's a little too cheap for him. And Yelich has been red hot. Are people just not playing Milwaukee? Because I like Milwaukee today, I guess more than most people do. I was the only one that put him in my favorite stacks, fifth, granted, but I'm not afraid of Jesus Chavez. The ballparks we talked about already, pretty positive. Yelich has been hitting rockets of late. If you care about such things, like he's been locked in for sure. How about yourself, Will? Some of your favorites outfielders.
Plenty of Houston. Just love those guys. I mean, I pretty much I would lock my outfield up with Houston if I could. Brantley, Alvarez, Tucker, like I'd lock it up. I don't hate that at all. Other guys that I know, people may be into are the Angels outfield. Trout, Ohtani, Brandon Marsh. I don't hate them at all. I think sneakily, of course, everybody's going to try to play the Diamondbacks. And then after that, for me, I'm pretty much home run hunting outfield after that. A little bit of Jock, a little bit of Gas, stuff like that. Those are kind of the approaches I'm taking. But Houston and the Angels are absolutely my top two. You mentioned Milwaukee. I've mentioned a lot of Milwaukee guys like along the way at positions. The other positions, so of course, those outfielders are going to be in there too. Yelich, McCutchen. I just think, like I keep saying, I'm not afraid of this Braves pitching staff right now. Not today, at least.
Pulling some questions from chat. The producer Steve is throwing my way. Angel stack. How do you feel about the Angel stack, Tim? 1, you hate it. 5, you love it. 3, somewhere in the middle. How do you feel about? We don't know the lineup just yet, but like obviously we're going to assume it is what we expect. But
If it's what we expect, they're 4.5 to 5 for me.
Will, Angels?
5 being number 1, correct? The best?
Yeah, 5, you'll love it.
5.
Arizona lineup just came out. Varsho, Smith, Peralta, Walker, Rojas, Marte, Beer, Ahmed, and Kelly. We're still waiting on the Angels, obviously. Crunch time, guys. I guess they're early. They're knocking on the door early. We might have a minute. We can play a game with Roth.
Let's play a game.
We got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, Keith Eyster, Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. Potts, shout out yesterday. You're calling Jose Altuve. Your sources worked.
I mean, my source was Jose Altuve. So I mean,
good
yeah.
source.
You got a direct line to Jose Altuve. All right. I mean, you're not supposed to expose your. Well, you can do what you want, but
Dave, I will say this: if people listened to Crunch Time yesterday, they should have made some money.
Yeah, I mean, could I have said any clearer on Manny Machado, and could you have said any clearer on Manny Machado?
Right.
For example.
By the way, nobody mentioned Manny Machado on this. Like, nobody's playing him tonight versus Alcantara. Just throwing it out there. Like, he's going to be what, 3% owned, 4% owned. I mean, I'm probably not playing him either, and I'm not running 150. But yeah, just somebody just bet on talent, I suppose. Roth, you are early, and most of the weather stuff is like taken care of. We have. I can fire up a couple questions. I always have a game on layaway for you. If you want to play, by all means. I don't know if you retired because you ran the board last time, like movie quotes, baseball player.
I felt pretty good about what happened, but I'm not the type of guy to just retire on the high end. We're going to keep fighting until you take me down. So yeah, I'm ready.
I have a couple. I had them for the game last time, but the game is never really finished. We have you choose the game. It's Marvel superhero or baseball player, one of those two, right?
Okay.
That's game number 1, or just movie quotes. I'll tell you a quote. You tell you a movie it is.
Let's do a little movie quotes, and we can save Marvel superhero or MLB player for another day. Oh, that's a good game. I mean, that's a solid one. But let's try some movie quotes out.
All right, and I'm just gonna read it cold. I'm not gonna try to give you any sort of you got to get your movie. You weren't ready for this. You weren't prepared. You don't watch any movies pre-show, as far as I know.
No, but I feel good about it. I'm ready. I'm a movie buff. It's tough to stump me, Dean.
You sit on a throne of lies.
This is Elf. He yells it at the and you stink of cheese. Yes.
Bonus points you're getting.
Yeah.
All right, let's check your versatility. She doesn't even go here.
That is Mean Girls. I think someone interjects, and the other guy yells, the gay best friend. I was like, she didn't even go here, right?
Yes.
Mistake again.
By the way, the best friend was in my graduating class. Danny
really?
Easy. Shout out. Yeah.
Nice.
Piper High School represent. So, all right, couple more. I mean, you're on fire. This one,
yeah, one
of my favorite movies. It's a really good movie. Let's see.
All right.
I don't know if I should do that. I'll just say it straight.
Okay.
That's a bingo.
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh my God, Roth! Look at you.
Hey. Yeah.
That was a bingo. That was pretty impressive.
Here's my question. Is everyone else on the same level as me? Like, are people in chat? Do they all know all of these? Cheese, do you know all of these?
I would not have got that last one. I mean, I've seen the movie, but I would not have got that last one.
I went through a weird phase where I just watched YouTube clips of Inglourious Bastards, like just little tiny clips of it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, right. I have never done that.
That was one of them, so that helped.
I saw the movie and just kind of stopped there. I didn't realize there was a next level.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. The YouTube algorithm hits you with some weird stuff, and sometimes it's right. Ice, were you going to get all of these, Ice?
No, I'm not a guy that remembers quotes or where they came from. They're all familiar to me, but I couldn't have told you probably half of them.
Man, I feel
good. Am I going to have to make these harder? Is that the problem? Is the game too easy?
I mean, you're just, you're coming at.
The pulling out the Inglourious Bastards, quote that. That's not too easy at all. That's like Who would have guessed that Roth has spent his spare time watching YouTube clips of that? It's incredible, really.
In no particular order, too. I just like watch one from the end and then it pops up. Well, you'll like this one from the beginning, just randomly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird. Hey, that was a good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, hopefully the people played along at home. Like, yeah, there was really no delay to even give the chat a chance.
I should have built up the drama a little bit. It was like when the guy won for the first time, Who Wants to Win a Million? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And the original guy on the $1 million question just said, the answer is C, and I know it, and the game's over.
I thought he called his dad. Did he call his dad?
Yeah, that's right. He called his dad to say, just wanted to call you to let you know I won $1 million.
The answer was Richard Nixon. It was Laugh-In. Well, what president appeared on Laugh-In or something like that? Why do I know that? That's a completely nonsense
thing.
I have
no idea how you knew that.
He called his dad and just said, "Yeah, I just want to let you know I'm going to win. I don't need any help. Just so you know, I'm winning $1 million," which is kind of cool.
And apparently, like, I thought it was awesome, but apparently, what's the host's name? Reggie?
Regis Philbin?
Regis. Thank you, Reggie. Jesus.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Right. Apparently, Regis was really pissed about it because it took Regis's like shining moment of building up the drama of the $1 million winner.
Well, Regis will have to get over it. He'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. Hey, people are already asking
Regis
about
and
the
Kelly.
I think it's like Ryan Seacrest now and Kelly, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that the thing?
It is. It's pretty good. Don't tell anyone I said that. Like, I wouldn't say that out loud, but it's pretty good.
I'm glad that Ryan Seacrest is getting some work. You know, he was really struggling.
Hey, people are asking about the weather, so I figure I should probably go ahead and dive into that spiel, and then we'll break down the slate.
All right. Coolio.
Thank you, Roth. Y'all have a good show. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody. And now is the start of FanDuel Crunch Time. Roth, take it away.
Peace in the Middle East.
Dino. Excellent as always, guys, and excited to be here on a little FanDuel. It's the second time I've said FanDuel sponsored by Crunch Time. That's 2 days in a row. Crunch Time sponsored by FanDuel. Got to give them a little plug here. Sure to check out the FanDuel 125K Friday MLB Squeeze. 25K to first, $5.55 to enter for your chance at 25K. Also, sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, new users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That is a good deal from our sponsors. And we like that they're getting this information out there for free. So go ahead, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe, because this is the show where one weatherman is joined by the two sharpest men in the world. One, Mr. Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood. What up, Cheese?
I mean, they're canceling these games early. It's fantastic. Like, it's it's an annoying group of games to lose, but I mean, we had 4 hours notice, so that's everything's fine. It's great.
There's no way 2 or 3 years ago that it would have went this way.
And like one of them, they would have delayed it, not postponed it till after lock, and and I think we gotta, even though we lost 4 great pitchers. Hey, it was 4 hours in advance at least. I mean, I take it as a big plus.
Right. And there still is a chance they could delay a game and then postpone it after lock, as Cincinnati is officially delayed. More on that in a bit. But first, bringing in the Iceman. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Lost some good pitching on the slate. This was shaping up to be like one of the best pitching slates of the year, probably the best. But we lost Cole, we lost Scherzer, Gaussman, Bieber. So we're down to now just a handful of good pitchers. So going to have to make some interesting pivots. Ownership is pretty spread out, though. So I think we can find some angles here.
Okay. Content-wise, is that just the worst thing ever? Because you're like, all right, we lost this pitcher, but we're going to pivot to this guy. And then you lose that pitcher. Like, it's okay, we can pivot. No, we lost him. Is that how it went today?
Yes. When you write up when you do the rankings and the expert survey, you get them and, around noon Eastern, and then you lose a game and you go up and you update your content, and then another 30 minutes goes by and we lost another game. So yeah, content got updated multiple times today, but no problem.
Okay. Occurring to me that I guess the Cincy game that I was talking about as, the scary one, that's not on the slate, right? Is it?
Right. That's the early, not on either slate.
It's so glorious. Today was going to be the worst day, and then everything is shaped out okay. I guess I should talk about it briefly anyways. I did see some people in the chat asking about it. I do think they're going to play. They officially late started. Things wind down tonight. So I think if they wait 2 hours, They can play. So, but hey, we don't have to worry about that. I don't have to stress about it. And if that call goes wrong, it is not on my official record because, it's not on the slate. If it goes right, I do want it on my record. Let's talk about the pitching that we are left with, gentlemen. Cheese, why don't you discuss where we were and where we are?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Someone asked about Boston, and I just want to say Boston's fine. All the other games, like I'll double check a Boston radar real fast, but the rain's going to stay south of Boston. They might play in a sprinkle, but it's completely fine, whatever format you want. Sorry, Cheese.
No, that's fine. So, yeah, I mean, Keith said, this was going to be probably the best pitching slate of the year. We lost probably the 4 best pitchers or 4 of the best 5, and it's still a decent pitching slate. Like it was that deep. Kind of the direct pivot SP1 off of whatever SP1 you were on before is Darvish. He should be the most popular. But it's close with Logan Gilbert and Nathan Eovaldi. Like to me, those are your top 3 now. And really Louis Garcia is not far behind at all. Feel free to call that a top 4. On FanDuel, we get a pretty huge gap between Darvish and Eovaldi / Garcia. So I have more Eovaldi than Darvish just because of the salary. And I do prefer Eovaldi to Garcia, although it's really close. I'm pretty much mixing those guys up. Josh Winder is the cheap guy I'm willing to use on FanDuel. I think it's okay because of how many pitches we lost to throw Eric Lauer in there, throw Sandy Alcantara in there, throw Merrill Kelly in there. If you want to do all that, it's fine. But I'm mostly Darvish, Gilbert, Eovaldi, Garcia, Winder.
Okay.
DraftKings wise,
yeah.
The salary on Louis Garcia is going to make him probably the chalkiest guy. It's not that hard to get Darvish either. But I think that most people will be playing one of Darvish, Gilbert, Eovaldi with Garcia.
Okay. Is this a situation where a guy like Darvish was going to come in at 2% owned and now he's like 50%?
Exactly.
So do you want to pull back on him a little? Because now this dude who you weren't that jazzed to play is suddenly coming in at massive ownership.
Yeah. Well, the thing is still not massive ownership because it's fairly well split with him, Gilbert, and Eovaldi.
Okay.
So I don't feel like we're looking at a 60% Darvish. I think it's enough split up that you play whoever you like out of those guys. And for me, that's Darvish and Eovaldi ahead of Gilbert. And then I like Garcia and Winder about as much.
Okay, great. Ice, let's get your take on pitcher. Is it the same grouping or do you have some other guys in or maybe some of those dudes out?
It is the same grouping. I'm a little bit lower on Darvish, and just because we've seen the K rate down to begin this year, he's down in that 22% range where historically he's been up around 30%. So this is a great strikeout matchup against Miami. So that does help him a little bit here. But Eovaldi is actually the one who has been getting the strikeouts here. He's up around 28%. And this White Sox team has not been good this year. They're not striking out either, though, which is a problem for DFS scoring. But Eovaldi is my favorite pitcher on the slate, especially on FanDuel where you get a little bit of a discount. But I like him just as much on DraftKings as well and should come in a little bit lower owned than Darvish and Gilbert and certainly Garcia on DraftKings. Eric Lauer is the really interesting one to me. He's posted back-to-back double-digit strikeout games. And I was digging into his stats quite a bit earlier this morning. His velocity is up and he has reworked his pitch mix quite a bit. He's not throwing his changeup anymore at all. And his slider and curveball usage are both up above 20%. So I'm buying the jump in strikeouts for Eric Lauer. It's a good Braves team, but they have struck out versus left-handed pitching so far this year, strikeout rate around 26%. So it's a big price tag for Lauer. Our ownership numbers, I'm a little bit torn on. I didn't expect to see them as high as they are. And I'll be really curious to see where they end up. But like on FanDuel, we have him up there with the Darvish, Gilbert, Eovaldi. And I just think the discount you get on Eovaldi in particular and Gilbert, I think that means Lauer kind of slips through the cracks. And I'm hoping that he comes in a little bit lower owned than we have him projected.
Okay. I totally agree on that ownership. I think Lauer will be, 5 or 6% versus more like 25 for Darvish and 20 for Eovaldi.
Yeah. And you think he's got the upside, Cheese?
He does. Like, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Right. Like, it's 2 starts for a guy that's never been like this before. And there's just enough reason to believe there's some, like, he has changed a little bit. He might be better. He probably is better. I have no idea. I don't really like him tonight. Like, I'm not there on him yet, but I mean, the improvement has, just like Keith said, I mean, there is reason behind it. And I wasn't playing him at all before. Now with what we've lost, he is back in my pool, and I have a little bit.
Okay. Is it crazy that to me, it seems like we have no idea is the perfect reason to play a guy in a GPP? Like, if we don't know if he's improved or not, like that's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, it absolutely could be real. Like, we can't say that it's not real.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
It all the metrics kind of lead to it being a significant change for him too. And that's why I'm willing to jump on a little bit early. Like, his swinging strike rate is up, his outside the zone swing rate. So people are chasing his pitches more, and he's getting people to swing and miss more. So those are both good positive signs to see in the underlying metrics.
Okay. But also 2-game sample size. So
correct. Yeah. And a tough matchup as well.
Yeah. So Cardi's screaming.
Cardi would be so angry with you right now.
We need 10 years of a sample size.
Yes. The bat hates him today. So if you're using bat projections, you will not get any Eric Lauer.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about some of the bats here, guys. And Ice, you can lead off. I'd prefer if you started with the stacks. Did we lose something that was the stack? We lost 10 teams.
No, we didn't really, because a lot of the good pitchers were in the games that we lost.
Right.
So we still have the top offenses. Houston is definitely up there on my list. The Angels are right there as well. Minnesota and Boston, I would also put in that top tier. Washington is another team that I like to kind of go off the board. They're changing their starting pitcher. We did have Jaime Barria projected. And there's been a change in that. Looks like Jonathan Martinez is the guy that we have now. I think Barria still comes in as like a long man because Martinez isn't super stretched out either. But Washington is the team I like to kind of get off the board. But Houston, the Angels, Minnesota, and Boston, I would put up as my top 4.
Okay. Jeez.
So, I mean, he just named the top teams in order. Like, and it's enough top teams that I'm not concerned about ownership. For me, I go Houston 1, and then the Angels and the Angels and the Boston Red Sox kind of tied for 2nd, and then Washington, Minnesota kind of tied for 3rd.
Okay, great. I guess we can go position by position then, Cheese. And if you don't mind starting us off with a little bit of catcher.
Indeed. So catcher, on FanDuel, I'm going to be willing to play Varsho and Gary Sanchez. We're still waiting on that Minnesota lineup, which is a little, it's getting a little dicey at this point. But that's kind of it on FanDuel Draftkings, where you actually need a catcher. Sanchez is my favorite guy, assuming he's in there. You can always punt, of course, because there's not really good high-end catchers. So like Maldonado would probably be. Seems like he's always kind of the punt, but a $2,200 guy for the Astros. And then if spending up, I also kind of like Gilbert Ruiz for your Washington Nationals.
Okay. Ice.
Yeah, there's not many here today. One more kind of punt option down at 2,700 in the Boston lineup is Paul Ecke. Don't mind him on DraftKings. Definitely would not play him on FanDuel. Ryan Jeffers, if he cracks the Minnesota lineup, would be all right as well against a lefty.
Okay, take us to first.
All right. Jared Walsh is just way underpriced. Both sites. He's hitting in the middle of this Angels lineup, presumably against a young pitcher who has struggled with left-handed power. So Walsh was a phenomenal option. Ohtani at the top, you'd play him in the outfield if you're stacking Angels, obviously. Jose Miranda, I'm still going to keep chasing him. He's still near minimum price. Really young guy with a lot of power who's struggled in his first week in the majors, but I'm just going to keep playing him. Eventually he'll hit that first home run. Josh Bell, I like this Washington stack quite a bit. So Josh Bell, I will have plenty of exposure to, and Yuli Gurriel as well in my Houston stacks.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he named everybody there because like it's really not a deep position. Like the other guy that I like for savings would be Christian Walker. But I don't mind playing on DraftKings. I don't mind playing Miranda because you're not really giving up that much at high end first base. And I totally agree. Like Jared Walsh is kind of the guy that makes the most sense price wise on both sides as a starting point.
Okay. Second.
On FanDuel, Altuve is the chalk. He's again too cheap. But like we always see recently, it's really a pretty deep position, particularly on FanDuel, and they're all priced pretty close to 3K. Trevor Story, Colton Wong, Kettle Marte, Jorge Polanco. You can play guys like Albies and Jazz Chisholm even in tougher matchups, and Javier Baez, just Brandon Lau. That's four guys who are all in sort of non-ideal matchups, but they're not expensive on FanDuel. On DraftKings, most guys are priced up, but Altuve is still just kind of a little too cheap at 45. So he will also be the chalk there. And I would call it good chalk. So he's my go-to guy.
Ice nodding along in agreement.
Yeah, Altuve is the top option for me as well. I really like Albies. I know I said I was on Lauer, but Albies just hit lefties really well in his career. So if Lauer isn't quite what he's been at the beginning of this year, there are several Braves that I don't mind as one-offs. I probably won't be stacking them, but there's some good power in that lineup. So I do like a couple Braves. Just another name, Abraham Toro is hitting sixth for Seattle. Don't mind him.
Okay. How about third base?
So Devers and Bregman would be my top two here, both equally Boston and Houston, both teams that we love today. Rendon is a decent pivot in an Angel stack, another team we like a good amount. And if you're looking for something cheap, Maikel Franco for Washington, I like.
Cheese, third base.
Yeah, I love Devers, like a top infielder on the slate. Probably my favorite player anywhere who's not an outfielder. And then agree, Bregman is next. That's kind of your tier there. Other than that, you're just messing around, just for the sake of messing around. And I would say don't do that.
Okay. Shortstop.
This is the dead position today. There are no shortstops. And not quite no shortstops, but compared to other positions, especially on DraftKings, it's like, what are you doing here? Instead of talking about the expensive guys that are overpriced, I will say if Royce Lewis is in the lineup for the Twins, which I think he should be, I'm very happy just playing a 2K shortstop on DraftKings because you're overpaying for other things. On FanDuel, we get a few more options because we get the dual position guys, Story, and Baez coming in here, Polanco coming in, pay up a little bit more for Xander Bogaerts, who I like a lot, throw Pena in some Astros stacks, and feel free to toss a dart at Eugenio Suarez as well.
All right. Ice.
Yeah, it's tough because everyone's a little bit overpriced, like Chief said. Lewis would be the punt who kind of makes everything work if we do get him in the lineup.
There he is. There it is. Boom.
Got it.
He's in. So he is in
the 8 spot like we had projected.
7.
Nice.
There's no Jeffers.
Okay.
Which whoop-de-doo, but there's not.
All right. Jeremy Pena is another guy. I like. He was overpriced. He was even higher than he is now about a week ago, but that price is starting to come around where you can consider playing him in the 7 hole for Houston. Willie Adames at 4,700 is fine as well.
All right. That takes us to the outfield. Ice, you can lead us off.
All right. I mentioned Ohtani at first, top option for me, along with Byron Buxton and Juan Soto. Mike Trout, also a phenomenal option. Those are the expensive guys that would top my list. Jarren Duran is another punt that you can use leading off for the Red Sox. Just got the recall from AAA. Dalton Varsho is a little bit underpriced leading off. Love the Astros guys, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker. Brantley is underpriced as well. So not a guy we love to play in DFS, but when he's this cheap, he makes a ton of sense. Christian Yelich, another guy, and Alex Verdugo, another Boston guy that I like.
Okay, jeez.
Yeah, spend your money in the outfield. It's fantastic. And there's some decent mid-tier guys too. Keith mentioned a lot of them, but Alvarez, Soto, Trout, Ohtani, Buxton. That's awesome. Like that's where you want to spend your money. And you can get 3 of those guys on FanDuel without really stretching that far. That's what I recommend doing in most lineups. DraftKings, you might need to maybe only get 2 of those guys. But if you can get 3, I would do it. If you want a ranking, I will go Alvarez, Soto, Trout, Ohtani, Buxton. But mix them and match them and play them all. Don't forget about Ronald Acuna. If Eric Lauer is not, in fact, the greatest pitcher of all time, which seems likely, you do want Ronald Acuna. You also want some Kyle Tucker. Basically, you want a lot of outfielders, and you probably want 4 of them on FanDuel. I don't think I'm playing the Diamondbacks cheap guys like Peralta and Varsho, where I need cheap guys, and Brandon Marsh as well on FanDuel, but really spend up in the outfield where you can.
Okay, great. Guys, we've got, I think what lock is 10 minutes after the hour. It's because of games getting postponed, or
that sounds right.
Or is lock still at 5 after because of the games that got postponed?
They usually push it back. I didn't actually check to see.
I'm not sure either. If somebody knows the answer to that, let me know.
Let me refresh. I'm showing it as 5 after still, but I'm doing a refresh here real quick. It says 12 minutes till lock. So it looks like it's still 5 after, but they may end up pushing that back here in the next couple of minutes.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and dive into some QQs. If you guys have any questions, whether it be this dude versus this dude, or strategy questions, or Cheese, what kind of ice cream are you eating tonight questions, those are all acceptable, as we still have more than 10 minutes to help break down the slate. Yeah, a couple of people in chat saying yes, DK is still at 5 after. So, okay, let's get to D-Rock here. DKGPP. Ice, I'm going to start with you. Pavin Smith or Duval?
If you have other Diamondbacks, I'd go Smith, but Duvall is one of those righties in Atlanta that I mentioned with some power. And if Lauer isn't amazing, they're really good plays today.
Okay. Cheese. Jay says this is a high dollar DK single entry. Stacking Houston with a mini Angel stack does not include Ohtani and Trout. Is that viable?
It is, yeah. The Angels have so many good bats now that you don't have to play those 2 guys. If you have like Ward and Walsh and maybe Marsh, Rendon, it's all good.
Okay. And FanDuel pushed it back. DK did not, just so that we're all on the same page as to when the lock is. FanDuel GPP, Ice, I'm giving this one to you. Can I game stack the Milwaukee Atlanta game? I intentionally did not give this to Cheese because he gets not pleased about.
Didn't want to have to leave.
Yeah. He doesn't like hearing game stack in baseball.
You can game stack, but there is no correlation between the opposing sides. So by all means, stack Milwaukee and stack Atlanta, but there's no correlation.
Game stack.
Yeah.
Therefore, you obviously can't game stack, but you can play 2 teams who happen to be playing in the same game. That's what he just said, just to clarify.
Yes. All right, let's go to Bean Dude, which is a good name. Bean Dude says, hey, I'm getting a lot of Josh Rojas on FanDuel at short. Cheese, can you play Mr. Rojas?
Yeah. Like shortstop is the spot you can just completely punt because it is the worst position. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, great. Generic says, Ice, DK Cash, am I dumb for playing Machado? Am I dumb for playing Machado and DK Cash?
I don't think I would ever call anybody dumb for playing Machado. I mean, he's a phenomenal hitter. Devers has a better matchup, but if you need the money, I'm with it.
Okay, great. Dan Jan says, this is from my boy Cheeseisgood. You have to consider the Braves as a stack on DK, right? Lauer has a crazy range of outcomes when looking at floor to ceiling.
Yeah, so it's the exact same thesis why you can play Lauer. You can also stack against it. We don't have a clue on this guy. So, yeah, you can absolutely play Braves.
Great. Okay. Chinatown. I think he's trolling it. He says, this is a super insane high dollar. Has there ever been... I do like when people say this is high dollar, but I guess the ownerships are different in like higher dollar versus lower.
I mean, the chalk gets chalkier generally.
Okay. All right. Well, this is super insane high dollar. Has there ever been a direct pivot on DK than Juan Cheeseisgood over a higher owned Jaron Duran? I don't know what the hell I just read. Does anyone understand that question?
He's just saying we can have some cool nicknames for two cheap outfielders.
Thank God.
There is nothing to talk about.
All right, good. Sit down, son. Says Cheese, what kind of ice cream you eating tonight?
I'm feeling a Sunday.
Classic Sunday.
Yeah.
Classic Sunday. It's a good one. All right. DK Cash Ice. You want Trout, Maldonado, or Sanchez and Varsho?
I would prefer to punt catcher, so give me Trout, Maldonado.
Okay, great. Aside, FanDuel Cash Cheese, Acuna Walsh, or Yelich Story?
Yelich Story and Cash.
Did I read an article or see something on Twitter that was like, Yelich is back? Am I making that up? Is that a possibility?
I didn't see it, but it is certain. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
That is a very reasonable thing to say.
That's good. I'm glad because it was like he was one of the best players, and then all of a sudden, was he also? Did he get a little busted? Was that him?
No.
Who am I thinking? I'm thinking of the Brewers guy, Braun.
Ryan Braun.
Yeah.
Braun. Right. He got busted for the juice.
Correct.
That's who I was thinking of. Okay, that makes me feel better. By the way, in case you're new to the show, I don't know anything about baseball. I do weather for baseball. Everything I know comes from these guys. All right, let's see. FanDuel single entry from Prodigy. Ice, you want Tellez or Eugenio Suarez?
I'll go Tellez on that one. I like the Milwaukee stack. We didn't talk about them much, but I do like Milwaukee today.
Okay. I like this comment and question from MK Polano. He says, what's up, Roth, Ice, and Cheese? Alcantara or Winder, and why? Cheese?
It's a very significant price difference. If you don't care about the price, like you just have thousands of dollars sitting around that you're not going to use, I will slightly lean Alcantara. But with salary considered, I definitely prefer Winder. Because mostly just because of the matchup, like not mostly because entirely because of the matchup.
And the price.
But if you're saying you just got salary just sitting there, I guess I would slightly lean Alcantara.
Okay, interesting. Falcor, is Winder okay in a high dollar FanDuel single entry? I'm assuming the answer to that is yes, but
I think he's okay in anything and everything. He is for me.
All right. NBA DFS says Ice, your boy Lauer is projected to be the third most owned pitcher on FanDuel. Do you think that is accurate?
I do not. Just Darvish has the name recognition. If you're using projection system, they have not quite caught up to what he's done so far this year. So like he's just not going to be as popular as Darvish and even Eovaldi.
I would be stunned if he's even top 5, honestly.
Okay, interesting. All right. Sherman's Tanks, FanDuel Cash, Cheese, Otani, Varsho, or Yordong and Marsh?
I love all 4 of those. Jordan and Marsh.
Okay. Amateur Hour, your favorite second baseman in GPPs. I didn't say the site, which is annoying.
That's got to be DraftKings.
Yeah, probably, because he says for due GPP. So your favorite second baseman, 4,400 in a DK GPP.
4,400 or less?
Yep.
Brandon Lau, 4,300.
Excellent. Strategy question, Cheese. GPPs was scoring down significantly this year. Are you still full stacking on slates of, say, 6 or more games? Or are you hunting for more one-off power type plays? Have you changed your game because of the lower scoring?
So yes, but not in the direction people seem to think. It seems like most people are taking it the opposite way. I'm stacking more because the scoring is down. Like fewer home runs means it's harder to pick out the home runs. So I'm stacking more because the scoring is down personally.
Interesting stuff. Okay, guys, we've got 4 minutes until the little faux DK lock that's coming up here. Achilles DK Cash. This is a 3v3 with like a pitcher and 2v2 on each side. So ice is kind of a hard one here, but Winder, Ohtani, and Tucker, or Darvish, Walker, and Varsho.
It was Cash.
That was a DK Cash question. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I would trust Winder in Cash. So I'd go with the quotes safety, even though we don't like that word, but I think I'd pay up in pitcher for Cash.
Okay. RG producer pointing out he went to a Duran Duran concert back in high school in Birmingham. I feel like RG producer is too young to have gone to a Duran Duran concert in high school, but okay. Hey, how do we feel about pairing Alcantara and Winder on DK? Cheese?
Personally, not great. I prefer someone other than Alcantara there.
Okay. D-Rock saying the Reds game is postponed. I don't know if that's official. Yeah, it is. That's messed up, man.
Good thing that one's out on your record.
Good thing I think it's not on our record, because I thought since they had everybody come to the ballpark, they were going to go ahead and give it a few hours and play ball. I mean, all right. All right. Will Houston be chalky enough? Great question. This is a good question. Geez. Will Houston be chalky enough to avoid playing the top 5 hitters?
I don't believe so. No.
All right. DKGPP, Renfro, or Yelich? Ice, DKGPP.
Yelich.
Okay. Smooth Thug says, oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. This can't do this. Is Eric Lauer at a 50-1 odd for the NL Cy Young worth a dart? Ice? You're thinking about it?
No, not really. Even if he's really improved, he's still the 3rd best pitcher on his own team, and maybe the 4th. You could put Peralta in that, but Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta are all really, really good too. Even if he takes a big jump, I just don't see him getting to Cy Young level.
I feel like those odds should be like 5,000 to 1. Like some dude I've never heard of to win the Cy Young. I could
2 weeks ago, it probably was 5,000 to 1.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really, before that first big start, I mean, it really probably was something like that.
Okay.
Which tells you that 50 to 1 is a ridiculous overprice.
Right.
Yeah, if he keeps striking out 40% of batters, maybe he gets there. But even though I think he's improved, he's not a 40% strikeout pitcher. Maybe 29, 30, but not 40.
Right. Okay. Yak Face, one of my favorite names. Yak Face.
Love it every time.
It gets me, man. Any love for Rowdy Roddy Tellez in a DK single entry GPP? Cheese?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Dean pointing out, you can't say that I can't say I know nothing about baseball, then perfectly pronounce Eugenio Suarez. That's true. I felt that was in my bag with that one. I felt pretty good when I nailed that. Weeble, DK Cash, Buxton, or Yordong Alvarez? Ice?
Both phenomenal. I'll go Alvarez.
D-Rock, DKGPP, Buxton, or Ward? Cheese?
That's one of those where you got to kind of look at the rest of your lineup ownership wise. Like I think Buxton, Buxton's the better play. I don't think he'll be that chalky. That I think you probably just play Buxton.
Great. Okay. Ice, making you work. Your favorite outfielder, 4,200 or less in a DKGPP?
Outfield 4,200. just missed Kyle Tucker. Give me, man, Nelson Cruz is staring at me. It hasn't been great, but I don't know. I still believe in Nelly Cruz.
Okay, great. Mr. Red Sox, MT Red Sox, DKGPP, Cheese. I'm just going to read it cold. Gilbert, Winder, and Ahmed at short, or punt with Lewis in short and go up to Darvish and Garcia is the first half of the question.
I like Lewis at shortstop with Darvish Garcia.
Okay. And where does Rocky Road rank as your favorite ice cream? Is it in the top 5?
It's not in the top 5. I don't really, I mean, I'll eat it, of course, but I don't really understand why we're putting marshmallows in ice cream.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think I'm with you there. Okay. FanDuel single entry. Great question, by the way. All ice cream related questions are valuable. Cody says FanDuel single entry, Soto or Rowdy or Ohtani and McCormick. Ice.
I'll take the first one.
All right. Aside FanDuel cash, same price at 8,500 straight up. You want Eovaldi or Garcia? Cheese.
Eovaldi.
DUI says in a DKGPP, Alex Cobb looked, I thought he said really trusty, but no, he looked really rusty in his last start returning from injury. Do you trust him based on his previous starts before the injury? Ice?
I need to see it first. Alex Cobb is a guy I was all over in spring training, and he came out of the gate just looking awesome. Unfortunately, he tweaked his hamstring and had to spend some time on the injured list. So I need to make sure to see him fully healthy. Like, he looked pretty bad in the last one. Didn't even get out of the first inning. So definitely need to see it.
And because of the injury, it's now been almost a month since he's thrown over 60 pitches.
Yeah.
So he might not have a full.
Yeah. Even if he comes out and pitches well again, I think they probably stop him at about 60.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's trouble. Okay. Jay says FanDuel GPP Cheese. I'm going to rephrase his question. Would you be interested in stacking both Milwaukee and Atlanta?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Not really. No, not really.
Okay. All right. NBA DFS, FanDuel Cash, Ice, Gary Sanchez, Brantley, or P. Smith?
Brantley and Cash.
BHB, DK Cash, Cheese. This is a 3v3. Ohtani, Duran, Devers, or Walsh, Soto, Rendon.
Oh man, it's a very good one. Ohtani, Duran, Devers.
Okay. CLT Go Blue says, oh, okay. All right. As a game, we've got 2 minutes until lock, but we'll take this game. We'll save it till after lock. Sit down. Sun says, nope, that's also not. NBA DFS, Ozuna is a one-off in a GPP versus Lauer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good with it.
Okay. All right. FanDuel single entry, Bogarts or Adames?
Bogarts.
It's tonight the night for a diamond stack on DK. Diamond back stack, I imagine.
No, I don't think so. There's just not enough talent there. Like, Cool has been better. He's probably not as good as he's been, but the Diamondbacks are pretty bad too. So I don't like full stacking them.
Okay. CLT Go Blue says, Roth, MLB player, topic of a Chris Farley SNL skit, or LA Times columnist. So this name is one of those three things. The name is Bo Brasky, and it's not the topic of an SNL skit because that's, I believe, Bill Brasky. He's like, Bill Brasky went through puberty in 3 hours. He was howling like a werewolf. So I don't think it's Bo Brisky. I don't think it's Chris Farley skit. I'm going to go with an LA Times columnist. Bo, is that a baseball player? Bo Brisky? Geez, do we know?
Well, we do, but do you?
No, I don't think it's a baseball player. I don't.
Okay. Well, he's pitching tonight.
Crap. Well, I had to run out of the luck eventually. All right, let's see what else do we have here. We hit the lock, by the way. More likely to get shelled, Eovaldi or Darvish? let you both answer that one.
I'll go Darvish. Tougher matchup, I think, for Eovaldi, but Darvish just has tendencies to get wild where Eovaldi is more consistent.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, neither is likely to get shelled, but Darvish can just fall apart on his own more than Eovaldi can.
Yeah. My guy, bro, says Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip is his SP1 for ice cream. I find chocolate chips get too hard when they're in ice cream. And they're awkward on the teeth.
That is an interesting conundrum, but it is delicious at the same time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Same thing with you go to a frozen yogurt place, which is trash, by the way. Don't ever frozen yogurt. I hate frozen yogurt. Anyways, they put a gummy or those little gummies in it. And then you try to eat the gummy and it's just frozen solid and it's not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, it's that there are a lot of problems with mixing certain things in to ice cream / frozen yogurt
because it's so cold. RG producer, which I am fully on board. I love having a cold glass of water after having ice cream. I fully agree with this take.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
it helps
top
cleanse
notch.
the palate or gets the thickness out, and then you just go right back at it. I'm with that. DKGPP. Lamont Wade Jr. is back for the Giants. Thoughts?
Yeah. The Giants are one of those kind of just random leftover teams tonight that because they're the Giants, I threw in a couple stacks. Having Wade back helps. I wouldn't be playing him outside of the stack at this point, but I mean, I like him. I like the Giants. It helps the stack.
Okay, we're going to get out of here on one final question. It is, what is your favorite ice cream brand? Ice, you're first, as your nickname is half of the food that we're discussing.
I don't know that I have a brand preference.
You don't have to have a brand. Flavor works.
Chocolate chip cookie dough would be my go-to. I do like mint chocolate chip as well, but I agree with your take that the chocolate chips are too hard. So cookie dough if I had to choose.
Okay, excellent. I'm gonna go with strawberry. I like a nice strawberry. It's got good flavor. I especially like when there's little chunks of strawberry in my strawberry ice cream. But we all bow down to the master of the ice cream in this. Cheese, what is your very favorite?
Well, I'm already confused by the question because you said favorite brand, but then you guys named types. What are we asking? What is the question even?
I misspoke. Your favorite type of ice cream. That's because Ice was confused too. He's like, I don't have a favorite brand.
Favorite brand.
So sorry, your favorite type, your favorite flavor of ice cream.
Okay. I understand. It's a brand and a type because it's it's so specific. It is
Bluebell vanilla bean,
sweet cream from Cold Stone.
Sweet cream. Can you describe it?
It's basically super vanilla. It's not quite vanilla. It's sweet cream. Cream. You get some cream and you put sugar in it and you make it delicious.
That sounds great.
It's
like super powered vanilla.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. All right. I'm getting just slaughtered for liking strawberry ice cream here. Just getting slaughtered for it.
It's pretty weird. I mean, at least half the people listening, when they get the Neapolitan, they take the strawberry out and just eat the chocolate and vanilla.
That's the best one, man. All right. On that, we're going to get out of here. We're running a little late, and it is my daughter's second birthday, so I'm going to go celebrate with her. Yeah, it is excellent. So we are going to get out of here. For Cheese, for Ice, and for our production crew, who was fantastic, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.